as a calf. All right. Now, what are the other market versions of veal that we're going to see out there? Bob. And what's the other? The most prevalent?
Special fed.
Special fed. Exactly right. All right. This is neither. This is the third version, which is calf. Okay. Which just means that it wasn't it's too old to be Bob, and it is not been kept on that special fed diet of milk and whey and dairy product. This calf has actually had the ability to graze, and because of that grazing, because of the extra movement, and because of the extra iron in its diet from the grass, okay, that's why we see this darker color, okay. Still very, very lean. Almost no fat cover to speak of whatsoever, as you can see, okay. But very dark, very, very dark. Let's put Humpty Dumpty back together here. It would go like this, okay, for your whole side. And the great thing about the way that this came in is we can essentially do a whole ID review without even having to take the thing apart, okay. I mean, here's your bottom round right here. Your bottom round as it starts to come into the sirloin, okay. What we have right here is what we call the culotte, okay. Chef probably showed you the culotte when he broke down the beef loin, okay. And you can see here, as that culotte starts to work into what we know as the strip loin, you can see how it overlaps right here. And what do we think that end is right there? Can anybody tell me? Remember breaking down the strip loin? And there was the good end and there was the what end? The vein end, right? That vein end, essentially what's happening is the strip loin starts to taper off at the very end of it. And that culotte basically comes in over the top of it. So that long collagen band that we took off, that we fabricated off the end of that strip loin right there, that ends up turning into that vein that is undesirable, unpalatable, just makes the steak a little bit less high-end, so we don't serve it as a strip loin steak. That whole structure right there is what's going on right here. We can actually see what's going on. All right. What else do we have here? We've got your heel meat right down in here. You've got your knuckle right in here. You can see your tri-tip right here. Okay. Your eye loin right in here. Your top round right here. Okay. Now I've already gone ahead and broke this entire animal up into its to the two quarters that we're going to start to fabricate down today. All right. The veal animal, the veal carcass, is broken down in quite a few ways differently from the beef carcass. The first way is that the beef carcass, right after slaughter, right after grading, after it's been cut at the 13, between 12 and 13, so they can test for quality grading and for yield grading. Instead of that being done on this carcass, essentially what they, on beef, what they'll do after they've done that is they'll split it the entire way down the spine. All right. For veal, what they do is they split it in half the other way through the 11th and 12th ribs. Okay, and pretty much everything is broken down into what we call saddles. So you'll have both sides of the animal, essentially. Okay, you'll have both loins, both racks, both legs, both chucks. Okay. And that's what I've already done. Basically this morning the whole thing was whole. I broke it down, cut it in half, and then split everything as you see right here. Okay? We're going to go ahead and we're going to start from the back of the animal, and we're going to separate the leg from the loin. Okay? We'll work on the loin. We'll get that out of our way. And then we're going to move forward. We'll work on our the foresaddle, and we'll take off the breast, which is from here down, and we'll leave the brisket attached to the breast. Okay, there's been a request from the owner of this carcass right here to be able to make some veal bacon. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to fabricate that off. We're going to make it a boneless product so that they can do that. We'll then take off the foreshank, which could be used for a little bit lower quality ossobuco than from the hind shank. But for our purposes, we're just going to bone it out and cube it. Okay, and we'll save the bones for stock. At that point, we'll separate the rib from the chuck. We'll French off the rib section so that they have a chine off, chop ready rib. Okay, and then we will take the shoulder clod and we will take the chuck eye roll. We'll make roasts for that are a braisable item. Okay, there'll still be a couple of sort of bistro items that we can keep for some steak items from the chuck here, as well as some cubable items from this area as well. I've already taken off the neck. That neck meat I've already deboned and we've turned into stew. Okay, but there it is. So there's what we're going to do. And another thing that we're going to do a little bit differently than how a veal animal would normally be broken down is we're going to take off, and this is the first thing that we're going to do actually, is I'm going to take off the tenderloin whole, okay? Just because usually when they cut this, and this is one of the ways that the carcass breakdown is different between veal and beef. For veal, they're going to go all the way to the tip of the hip, all the way up to here, okay? And that's where they're going to make the separation between loin and leg. Okay, for beef, they're coming all the way back here. Okay, none of that sirloin area is included on the round of beef. So if I cut straight through here at the tip of the hip, I'm cutting right through the tenderloin, which is, if you remember on day 3, why you have the tenderloin butt that was still attached to your veal leg. Okay, one of the first things that he took and sort of peeled away and isolated and put off to the side. All right. Instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take ours off whole and let the customer roast that, or cut medallions from it, or whatever it is that they